What's up, friends? It's Marquise Martin Hayes, and it's time for the Monday Moment. So glad to be with you. So glad you joined in with me. Let's go. All right, so last week I had an experience. I know I've been talking about freedom and us really stretching ourselves to find this space of what we call freedom versus what's been given to us in the box, like a goldfish in a bowl, thinking that's freedom. I had an experience. I had an experience where I had an opportunity to try something. And instead of trying to get deep into my example, just think about in your world, when you've been forced or faced with something you wanted to do and all of a sudden fear struck. You remember that moment? Well, I'll give you a little hint. For me, it was getting in a river that was moving rapidly to carry my body, not away, but to carry my body along this path. When I got in the water, like, oh, it's pretty strong, very interesting, but I can swim, so it's cool. I go underwater and my body leaves me. I have no footing, and I'm like, not gonna happen. So I swim to the side like 2 strokes, and I stand like, just can't do it. Brain froze. Good friend of mine down the way, moving and moving. She's moving and moving and says, come on, join, it's fun. I'm like, can't do it. I froze. But long story short, caught up with it later, finally figured it out. And as I contemplated getting back in the water, because I knew I wanted to, I still had to overcome this. I was torn between pure desire, seeing others have fun, wanting to be a part of it, and this. The thing that was in here stopped me. But in a moment's notice, I was asked to try, just to take on courage. And in that courage, the idea of taking on courage, I looked at the water, I turned, and I just jumped. And it was blissful, it was beautiful, it was calm. I got out of that a lot of things, and I want to share a little bit of that with you today, which is why I don't want to spend too much time on my story. I want to spend more time talking to you about how you're still crafting your story of letting go, so that you can catapult into a situation like I did, where I didn't have to swim, I didn't have to touch the bottom, I didn't have to put forth effort. I only had to relax, and I was catapulted into more freedom that I now get to share with you. And that's showing up in my life in other areas also. All right, so there's a couple things I need you to do. In order to let go of fear, there's 3 things I want you to do. There's probably more, but I want you to focus on these 3. Number 1, call out the fear. Listen, in that moment, man, ego was in the trash can. I was as vulnerable as I could be because there was nothing I can do, and the whole world could see it. Call it out. Get really present with it. Because in getting present with it, you get to find out what's my desire and what's my limiting belief. Because that distinction versus I'm just scared, that distinction gives you more freedom and access to something new, to something different, but at least clarity of mind. The second thing I want you to do is discuss it in a safe space. Whatever that fear is that's holding you back, you need to get some people in your life that you can be open up and be vulnerable with about that. Yeah, because you've got to sort that out. You've got to get that out versus just accepting that, hey, this is what is, this is just how I am. You have an opportunity to discuss it and receive support, love, feedback while you're processing in a safe space that can help you move past that limiting belief. The third thing that I want you to do is I want you to clarify your desire. Because just as it's important to call out the fear, it's also important to call out the desire. Because as you call out the desire, you also are equally present to truth. Yeah? That's what helped me. The truth is, I know I wanted to get in there. I know I wanted to have fun. I just didn't know how I was going to overcome my limiting belief. How many things in your life right now you know you want to do or would like to be doing, but because of limiting beliefs, you just won't even try? Like you just, maybe one day. That's the trick, right? Like one day. So many of us do that because we're not willing to let go and get present. But in clarifying my desire, I was able to let go, attach my energy, my physical action to my desire, and I got to enjoy bliss. Here's 3 things I want to give you as well that I think can help move you forward. All right, so take these 3 and run with them because it's the Monday moment. I've got to get out of here. The first one I want you to do is do something new monthly. Why? Because we don't do that. We're living organisms, and if you're not careful, if you look at your life, you look at your schedule, it's routine. We're doing the same thing we do because we did the same thing we do to maintain status quo for the thing that we did because it's the same thing that we're going to do, and it's predictable. We are the only species who tries to stay exactly predictable because we have this rationale that makes us feel like it's safe. When in reality, we're missing out on the opportunity to live, to be fully expressed like you and I were born to do, which has a lot more fun in it anyway. The second thing I want you to do is question everything. Yes, question everything. Question your own beliefs. Question what you were brought up with. Question your heritage. Like, is this true? Is it really true? And what makes a difference? And is that what I want for me? Because when you do that, then you begin to create and craft new possibilities. But if you just accept what's been given, I know we talked about that last week, but it's still, we do that. So question everything. Give yourself a chance to find out. What do I really want? Oh, it changed tomorrow? And the next day? There's nothing wrong with that. It's part of living. That's part of getting clear. That's part of the experience of life itself. The third thing I want you to do is I want you to say yes without rationalizing to everything that would bring a smile to your face. Yeah, because why should you rationalize something that's going to bring a smile to your face? Yes, I know, responsibilities and all these other things, but put that aside for a moment. You live once. If you're not smiling or doing things that bring happiness and wholeness and peace and life and joy to you, what are you doing? Yes, I know we want to save and have a smile down the road and all those things, but you might not make it down the road. So what happens between now and then? We've all heard the phrase, take time to smell the roses. My mother taught me that one. I do it more and more often now because they make all the difference in the world. As a matter of fact, I recently learned, I kind of knew, but I didn't really know that there are so many varieties of roses that come in many colors that if I hadn't taken the time to slow down, I wouldn't know anything about, to have more to be appreciative and grateful for. Listen, that's something you got to remember. You might let go today, but you'll have to do it again tomorrow because it's a practice that you have to work through. But the point is that you're letting go of everything that's actually not you. This is Marquise Martin Hayes. Thank you for joining me for the Monday Moment. Peace.